Hi everyone, I'm Mike.
And I'm Carl, and this is the Corepunk Podcast.
Yeah,
How weird to be back, Mike, eh?
we're
Who'd have
back.
thought?
Who'd have thought it, eh? Look at us.
Look at us. Um, yeah,
Been a
I'm
while.
very excited. It's been a while.
That's
Yeah, out of practice.
out of
Is
practice, but you know, we've got plenty to go through now. We've
I know
suddenly
exactly.
dusted off the old microphone for this.
Y- Yeah, so if you are watching and you don't know, some news came out the other day in the Corepunk world. Do you want to explain what the news is, Mike?
Yeah, so we were um, blessed with two articles. We're going to go through them both today. One slightly more in depth, has got a lot of meat to it, and the one that doesn't, but yet there's a lot in it, if that makes sense. And we'll get to that, obviously. It'll make more sense
Yeah.
once we get to it. But yeah, we've not heard anything since I think it was March of this year.
Wow.
So we're certainly in fact it was May the 23rd was the last one.
We
But
didn't do a video on it, did we? It was the profession
it
stuff.
was the profession stuff. There was videos and that. It was there was some good things, and it does actually. There is bits in these articles that kind of hark back to that anyway. So
Right,
we'll
great.
talk about that. But yeah, I'm very excited. There's a bit to go through, and I think it's just reignited everyone. Like
Yeah.
the Discord has gone absolutely
Y- And
wild.
so it should. And so it
Yeah,
should. Yeah, I was. I'll hold my hands up. So I saw the news go live. Text you instantly saying, right, look, apparently the people will be playing the game in September of this
yeah,
year.
hmm
But other than that, I couldn't delve too deep into it because I've just had a baby. Not me. Well, my partner's just had a
yeah,
baby.
yeah,
So you're going to have to steer the ship. Tell me all the news. So a lot of this will probably be my first reactions, and that's
yeah,
also why we didn't do a video on the profession stuff. Is
yeah.
because the last couple of months have been hectic for me.
Yep.
Melody has now been born, so we
Hooray!
can now get on with it. So
Everyone's happy, healthy, and it's just been a
and
lot
we're
going
home.
on. And I do genuinely think Artificial Core planned this around your child because let's
Yeah,
face
yeah, I
it,
do. Yeah,
you were expecting. They've gone quiet. They've got their heads down.
they're like,
Melody
look,
is in the
Carl's going to be
world.
busy. Carl's going to be busy. We'll
Let's just
release
get our
some
heads
news once
down.
she's born.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and now she is, and then here we are making a podcast, baby.
yeah.
So excited. So
So
yeah,
let's get into it. Let's get into the
let's
news. I'll
try
pull
into
this over
it.
to
Yeah.
the screen. Let's go. So
So this is the first of two articles, like I was saying. This one's quite the meaty in terms of this stuff to break down actual game
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Um, I'll surmise. I won't go through it all, but basically, as you can see, they've been working at it. It's 8 years now, and
8 years, long time.
yeah, long time. But the thing that I will say now, before I start waffling on it about, you know what I'm like, I'll go and I'll go, is that it's close. You can tell by these two articles that
Yeah,
it's getting there. So,
yeah,
so I'm very excited. So, as an update, this basically um, is the idea that this September, which as of time of recording is less than 2 weeks away,
oh baby.
there is going to be a small group of community from the community playtesting the game. So
Yeah,
actual hands on the game. No, like, and well, there's a bit about the Discord, which because there's a lot. Obviously, everyone's like, well, who is that? What
yeah.
does that mean?
How do you
What's
say?
it?
Yeah,
So, uh, Eugene did pop into the Discord and go through it, but there's just this one just has a little bit to show you. So this is the launcher. I don't know if you've seen this yet.
No, I haven't. No,
This
that
is
looks
so this
sick,
is
doesn't it? It looks
first
sick.
look launcher. So, um,
Look at
the
that giant. Look at that
yeah.
character there.
So the it's I like the simplicity of it. There's
Yeah,
it's just got the updates and stuff. You can see the Light Bless the King, which is the Elanians strapline.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Elanians. Obviously,
The little.
we've done
Yeah,
we've done the so, and you can see
it's
that there. So does that mean there's going to be specific campaigns to the Quadari, the Yorners, the other ones?
I was thinking
Fadens,
that.
Fadens, Fadens. I
Fadens,
knew it.
Fadens.
It was there.
Yeah.
Um,
When we talked, because obviously if anyone's watched this channel, they would have seen that we're friendly with Blackout and Devarlin. So usually when news pops off about Corepunk, we all jump in a Discord and start chatting again.
Yeah.
And like we were all saying that, wow, we need to dust off the cobwebs because it feels like a lifetime since one we started this channel and
Yep.
covered Corepunk. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
and like and two, since we last did a video about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, hazy on some of the
Hazy.
stuff.
So yeah.
I'm
So
ready to get back into it, and I think we should. I think after this we should look at the professions video
yeah,
and just start,
we can go
yeah,
into it.
start
Yeah.
greasing the wheels a bit. So and
100%.
yeah, people may have seen it, but they haven't seen us see it.
No, they haven't. And
So
there is a lot to cover in that. But like I say, the thing to take away from this is that it exists. There is a launcher. That's the
cool.
main thing. And like Bless the King, so whether you you know, they did say it was
Yeah,
going to be faction based. Um, is that what we're going to play in the playtest? If like
yeah,
again, Eugene, we get into that bit. We'll get into the nitty gritty relatively soon. So that was like the small but meaty.
yeah.
It's
That
going to
and
be in
that's what I
some,
saw.
yeah, it's going to be in some people's hands soon. Um, they also released another one, which you can see is the August 23 progress update. Now, this
Yeah,
is one's got a lot of stuff, and this is the gameplay side of it. Um, touching
I'm
about
excited.
hero builds. Now, this will get you excited
We need
because
you, Mike. We need you here with your expert knowledge on MMOs here. Actually,
because
we need.
this does lead to. I mean, we talked about the idea of theory crafting, and is only having one class going to be enough for you? Are you going to need, and this just basically goes, yeah, you can pick a class and play it so many different ways, and it's
Class.
it's it's amazing. So you can see here the first little this is the default configuration that you can see. It's a little GIF. Um, and as you can see, it's got the stats down the left hand side and the build on the right. And as you can see, this is all empty.
So
So
is
this
this the
is
way?
just,
This is actually the UI that building our character in. Yeah, yeah,
yes. So
yeah.
you
Nice.
can kind of see the differences between when you are building your build, because
Yeah,
essentially it's up to you how you play your character.
that's really cool. Yeah,
So you can see it's just got the base stuff, and then it talks about how a bruiser variant. So the bruiser variant, which uses the warrior passive talent, it's the most anticipated build for the hero, which maximizes synergy with mechanics and playstyle. Now you can see the difference here. We've got some green numbers, we've got some red numbers, and obviously we've got the passive talents, weapon masteries, artifacts, weapon chips, and runes. Which full spoiler, they're down below. We've got a long way to go, baby. Don't you
right.
worry.
No,
We're going
yeah,
through it.
that's fine.
So you can see how just purely alone, if you're putting in, so you pick the warrior, you pick the passive talents, masteries, how this affects your stats, which I think
Right.
is really good because it's great you putting on an artifact and it's like, oh, this is plus 10% this, and you're like, cool, I know that that's better, but
Yeah,
what does it mean in natural reality? So the fact that you can see that your armor is going to be better, your magic resist better, your power is going to be
yeah,
all these things, because as we know when we talked about the artifacts, the artifacts are directly linked to things like attack power. So the higher your attack power, the better your artifact works
yeah,
essentially. So having that and being able to kind of have that in a tangible, meaningful thing. Of course, bigger numbers better. We always
yeah.
know that that's the
I'm
thing.
always a fan of big numbers
Yeah,
popping up when I hit
and
something.
and
Damage numbers, damage
and
counters.
there's damage numbers in the game, so we're already winning on that. Um, it goes into a bit of detail about how the build is. Um, Go and check it out if you want the full, like what the actual bruiser build
The
is
nitty.
and entails, the nitty gritty. But then it goes down into the next bits, which is the artifacts and the consumables.
This
Um,
is nice, isn't it? It's nice that you get a deeper look at this.
Nice, and it's simple. This is
Yeah,
the thing. You can see. So if you can see, we'll start on the top over here. Modular gloves.
yeah,
Um, you can see the 17 attack power, and then there's a bracket which is 15 to 20.
yeah,
So that means at its best, it's it can have 20 attack power, and at its worst, it can have 15. So that has 17. So it's in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, so you can, even within the same item, you can get, I mean, in theory, there's a perfect where you'll get 20 attack power, 16 armor, 6
And this
tenacity,
is just off like
25
I guess off crafting and just drop like rare
crafting.
drops,
Yep.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the I guessing the little pips next to them are your quality
Modifiers,
modifiers.
hopefully.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, um, but I'm guessing having all three pips is better than having one of the pips.
Of
Uh,
course.
bigger is better. But I like the simplicity of this. It gives you again a tangible thing when you're seeing. So when you get something that drops, and it's 150 health and only 12 armor, you know you can get a better drop
Yeah.
technically.
And that's what you'd want to
Um,
farm.
and you want to farm that, and if you know where it drops from, or if you know, well, again, crafting, which is going to be a big part, and again, we're going to get there. Don't you worry, my friend. And yeah, so I like the simplicity of it. It makes very simple sense. It's easy to read. It's got the gear score in the top. Again, higher gear score generally means better, but disclaimer as always with MMOs and stuff, if it doesn't fit your build, there's no point having spirit on a thing if you're not using mana.
Yeah, yeah, of
So
course.
it
Yeah.
might be a higher gear score, but and there's
Yeah.
little things like this. Obviously, with Fog of War's the big thing about this game. There's one this armor plate gives you vision radius, which could be crucial when you know if you can see the
Well,
enemy
it's just a great
first.
advantage, isn't it, if you
Yeah,
get bigger vision
if,
range? Yeah.
if you're seeing them, that's
I love
good.
all the artwork that they've got for these as well. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Just
Very
looks great.
stylized and fits
Yeah.
in with the aesthetic massively.
Yeah.
Um, and then the weapons and chips. I love this. This is great. It's again, I love the simplicity, but it gives you all the information you need. So this is the weapon here, the jagged needle. Um, like you can see, it's 21. It can drop as low as 8 though. That's the thing.
Well,
Is like, so this is obviously a 3 pip high quality. I don't know
yeah.
what the right word is, but that's the one I'm going for. And you can see here, so this here where is this chip up here.
Right.
I like the art style of the chips that you slot in. They're equivalent to gems in most fantasy MMOs.
Yeah.
Um, and then they've got 2 slots to increase. Put this in. They put the power enhancer. So again, it explains exactly what it does, and there's numbers if you're a nerd, and if you're not, it just tells you exactly what it does. So obviously the cardio on hit effect. So every time you hit, there's a 5% chance to heal the wielder for 33, which is a base of 25 plus whatever your weapon damaging is. So again, if your weapon damage is high, you're going to get more benefit from the heal.
Yeah. You know what's
So
funny as well? The more that comes out of the game that we're seeing in the last sort of couple of drops is that I don't know why, but I never expected to see the cyberpunk uh, of Corepunk. You know, like the cyberpunk esque sort of stuff, so chips, and I think
mm,
like your health were in syringes or whatever. You know, I
yeah,
don't know. I just didn't because of the art style, and I just think fantasy when I think MMO. I don't know why,
yeah,
but so
most
seeing the
people.
chips and stuff, it's just really cool. It's just like
Yeah.
and it really fits. Obviously, like it's just
It's original. There's only so many ways you can implement like this power enhancer, increase weapon damage by 6%. Gems, like say, is the obvious thing.
yeah.
Like, what do you put on weapons to make them better? Like, and
It's
in this
usually a
kind of
magical
world,
gem.
yeah, it's a magical gem or a magical whatever. But it makes sense in this world and lore that these chips can enhance the weapons. And
Yeah.
the cool in like I don't know if I'm again I read into this too much, but the chip looks like it's more like it's almost got like a bio. They're like tentacles.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
They're not quite.
Sort of living
Yeah, so maybe I don't know. Maybe that's like part of how it works.
a
Um,
law.
but yeah, so simple. You can see exactly what it is, what level you need, the gear score. This is class based, obviously, because it's a javelin spear thing, and you can see straight away it's how good it is or how bad of a drop it is.
Yeah.
Because that's where the farming aspect comes into it. So that's nice and simple, and it only continues further with the runes. The runes do exactly what they say. So,
Yeah.
taking or dealing damage causes you to begin dealing 8, and then it breaks it down for you. So bonus health is the flat 6 plus whatever your bonus health is, damage per second to nearby enemies for 3 seconds.
And where are we putting these runes to get this bonus? Are these in the artifacts bit?
So no, they're at the bottom
Oh,
here.
right, sorry, right, okay.
So you,
So they, yeah,
there
so
seems
you
to
can
be
have
two you can have.
artifacts, then you've got your weapons and your chips and runes, all part of your tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yep. So I imagine higher weapons would have more of these slots potentially. I think, and again, we're dusting off the microphone. My memory's like a dusty old tomb now. But I'm sure some of the passive things for the classes, some are like, not classes, the gathering professions, sorry, would be like you can have 2 of the cardio chips.
Right,
That's
okay.
for that.
Like stack it.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and they're the trade-offs. Which, speaking of, coming down now, so the mastery system. This is for the build above the bruiser build. So you've got your
Yeah.
passive talent tree. You pick one from each tier,
Each.
down 1 to 5. They all have various things, which are detailed here. There was a discussion in Discord at maybe 2 o'clock that morning. We were all talking about it because who needs sleep? Um, saying how there seems to be a lot based on, judging from what we've seen so far, is when you enter combat. So when a player is above this health threshold,
Yeah.
do more damage. And then there seems to be a one where it's like something triggers when you go below a health threshold or below a certain thing, which means the fights, and we had these discussions, the fights are going to be long. Like there's
Yeah.
certain things where it's like, I'm not sure if it's here. There is one where it's for, oh, here we go. Every 10 seconds the hero spends in combat, they gain 5% outgoing damage to a maximum of 20%. So that's
Right.
40 seconds.
Yeah.
Like these aren't kind of like, ugh, dead, next,
Dead. Yeah.
dead. This is like actual prolonged fighting, which excites me because there's tactics,
Yeah, I was going to say
there's
it can become
there's a
tactical and
there's a
yeah,
tenacity to it.
and going off sort of like the recent hype of Baldur's Gate, where those battles are long and tactical. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It'll be quite nice. I know that it's a different, so it's not turn-based combat like that, but
No, but
yeah,
the pacing of the fights are going to be something, and also it gives that thing of like, yeah, okay, so a PvP party might get the jump on you initially, but your build might be when you're below 20% health, when you're below 30% health, you
yeah,
start stacking up. So as they're
yeah,
chaining on you, you suddenly become a berserker and you're just like, yeah. And then
yeah,
suddenly the tide's turned and they're running away kind of thing. And that's like imagine those battles where you get jumped on, you're like, oh god, guys, come on. Da 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 da. And then by the end of it, the tide's turned, the blast medic's kept you up. You're just,
yeah.
snipers hidden away somewhere, The other thing we did notice whilst we were talking, you've got the masteries, and we've been through these. We know the warrior one gives you 10% damage. I think mage was like mana. There was some other bits, weren't there? But the crafter, there is a
That's good.
dedicated crafting mastery. So
That's great because you always like that in MMOs, where you'd go to a specific person to get them to craft you something. You know,
yeah, so there is,
Imagine that in the community. Some guy just being the boss man that you just got to track down to get you to
yeah.
craft something for you.
So we talked about the looter. That
Yeah,
was the one. Like they obviously get better loot, high percent chance of certain things dropping. If you mixed a character with a looter and a crafter, and you go along to raids, and yeah, okay, you're not the highest damage dealer, but the chance of that 1% drop becoming 2% because you're the looter, and then you can use that to craft a better thing. Like those characters will weirdly could be as valuable as the highest DPS assassin
well,
who's jumping from the shadows kind of thing.
it'd just be great to have one in your guild or your party, won't it, when you're
Mm,
playing? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like especially
100%.
if if we're playing, I imagine we'll build our characters around each other, you know,
Yeah,
to make sure that when we're out together, we're supported.
you're maximizing it. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
and the fact that you can choose two of the things. I know they're both
Yeah.
selected here. I don't know if how that works. I'm
It,
just
it it
guessing here.
it seemed to me that you can pick two, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
yeah.
I mean two
Cool.
are the same. So can you both have
Oh, two of the
warrior? Do
same.
you get
All right. Does it
does that
stack?
does that
Yeah.
stack? Does that give you certain benefits as
Right.
well?
Yeah.
If that's the case, it suddenly goes from 10 choices to I don't know the math because numbers. But yeah, the possibilities are endless. But this is all based on a legionnaire or a
Yeah.
commando or
Yeah.
and what this is where it gets good because we've seen him throwing the spear. Of course, it makes sense to have the warrior, but then there's an assassin build for the legionary, which turns him into a glass cannon. So it
Yeah.
completely switches up like
Yeah.
the
Look at the
legionary.
damage he's got there as
Yeah,
well.
14, 16. Like we
Yeah.
saw a couple of hundreds in the others. So this is basically it swaps it from being a durable tank into a very
Yeah.
squishy spellcaster. And you can see the numbers. The plus 81 here, it's plus 23 critical chance. Obviously, that comes from the assassin build. Less armor though. There's life still. There's other things, but the fact that that one character can be the super tank, or he
It,
can
it's
be, you know.
sorry, but it's made me just so excited for like, yeah, we could have sort of so many of the same class, but all be so different with
So
these
different.
subclasses
Yeah.
and the artifacts and the runes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's going to be so much freedom in.
Yeah. And there's things like you think to a ranger, typically they have the like critical damage and stuff, but you can actually maybe spec into mage things. So like you can have like that kind of spell ranger. Like, is
Yeah,
that possible? And like you say, you could have three rangers that are quite
wildly
different.
different. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, so this talks again. It goes into more detail about why it basically requires, as you can see, with the massive damage, it's the
yeah.
E ability that's the crux for it. So the fact when I saw this, I was just like, right, that's it. I'm sold. When the druid finally comes out, because it's happening.
It'll happen. It'll happen. It has to happen.
But
It has to
then you
happen.
can have your tanky druid, you can have your, like your assassin, crafter.
Yeah.
It's just, the possibilities are endless. So that got me very excited. And then this talks about the artifacts
Oh,
and consumables. Again, straightforward. There's
strong
the
joint. You
strong
gotta
joint,
love it. Strong joint.
which we saw, and again going back to these like tenacity long-term battles, the duration of it's 240 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's a long time, and it's 6%. And we saw from the videos that came out that when they didn't use the consumables and when they did use the consumables, how different the outcome of the battle is. So
Yeah.
having, like the crafter tree, often in MMOs, yeah, there are important that you have crafters in the game because there's certain things that can only be made by them. But even on a base level, if this is on lasting you a battle,
Yeah.
someone needs to be making these. So if you're a crafter and you can make better versions of that, you're going to be in demand. There's supply and demand, and I kind of love that about that. But again, it's just very simple. I love the idea that you can see in the brackets that's attack power 15, 20. It's dropped as 15. I can get it better. Like
Yeah.
there's always
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like carrot. Even if it's the same item, the steroid implant, that's 9. Is it worth trying to get a 10?
Do you reckon you
Like,
can get one which is full? Do you reckon you
yeah,
can get one with
I reckon
everything,
I
all of it?
100% do. I reckon you can 100% do it, but I reckon it's probably only through a crafter.
Yeah.
I think the chance of it being a world drop or something, like a loot drop, really slim. It might be possible, but I reckon the higher chance is coming from
Because
a
these are all like
crafter.
we're guessing they're all rare because of the blue shine and that the strong
Yeah,
joint's just a common item, isn't it? Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So very exciting. And looking at it now as I've been scrolling down, I know I said I didn't know what the pips were, but every 3-star pip has got the maximum percentage. So
Yeah, of course.
it
Yeah,
must be 3 versions of it
yeah.
that
So
drop.
yeah,
So happy days, lovely. And then there's cool little effects on these. Dealing magic damage with abilities cause the enemy to burn for 8 seconds. Um, if you've got bonus spell damage, it does extra for 3 seconds. So that's cool. I'm interested to see how the kind of artifacts will turn the tide of a battle, because I imagine they'll have cooldowns and stuff. So popping them at the right time, synergizing with your weapon, your build, knowing that I'm better. Like I imagine assassin's always going to be um, great at openers, getting that
yeah.
straight off kill. But then there's also the other side of it of like the execution stats and stuff, like coming in and finishing them off and stuff. So yeah, very exciting. I love the scope. I love the fact that crafters are important and like actual legit, not just, oh, I've made you
Yeah,
a health pot. It's like, well, actually, this is 6% critical chance. And if you're a high critical chance anyway, and that's giving you another 6%, you're going to be absolutely tearing up the battlefield. And this just kind of goes off the build again.
yeah. But
To
it's more
speak.
weapons, more.
You can see he swapped it for physical crit. Um, and this is the build again. You can see
Again, they've
here.
picked both there, haven't they? Both
Yeah.
masteries are the same. So
So I don't know if that is intentional or whether it's just for demonstration purposes that
yeah.
you've just got the one. Um,
I love the UI of everything in this game.
it's
I love
smooth.
the look
It
of it.
looks great.
It's really nice, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
just like
And it
it's
seems
really
very
cool.
straightforward. You've got the map, this passive tree, the weapon mastery, guild
Yeah,
statistics,
it's like
achievement.
them pips. It's like you've got the percentage there to look at, and then now if you just want a quick glance, it's like, oh, that's a one pip, it's bad. That's a three pip,
Yeah.
it's great. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's really clear feedback for the player.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's
So
just
when you've
nice.
just downed that boss or you've killed that
Yeah, it's
enemy
just like
party,
yeah,
you're instantly like, ah.
yeah,
So yeah, so then it goes on to the weapon mastery, and the two different ways you can do that. So it shows how, so this one they've picked slows enemies by 20%, vulnerable, and again the complete different to that is then having deals more damage to vulnerable enemies, increased damage on the first target hit by 15%. So again, it's that opening salvo. Like you can make your build like important in the start, and if you really wanted to get into the nitty gritty, you can have someone who's a great opener, someone who's in that bloodlust middle bit, and then someone coming out from the shadows, whether it be a pyromancer or whatever, just to go like, "Oh, see you later, mate."
incredibly exciting. All this in it to
Yeah,
like to finally be getting this such deep looks on
and
stuff now.
it's real. Like we can see here, obviously it's again smooth legionary shaman commando, which is locked. Is that a hint for the playtest that you're only going to get the first
Too,
two? Maybe, who
yeah.
knows? It's
Is, is there
y-
any details of how much we get to play in the playtest? Like what's open? Is that all to come in this
this
Discord stuff that you're
all
going to
it's
bring up?
all yeah. So Eugene does a quick Q&A, which is
Right, cool. Yeah, we
very
get
good.
to that.
Um, but then it goes on to the visualizations. These are the camps, kind of night and day. You can see how they look slightly different. What the concepts were. There's all this good stuff. You can see all the different assets and
Yes.
how the different camps look. So that this was a wolf camp,
Yeah.
and then we've got this one's a boar camp, I think. You can see the kind of aesthetics that they're going
Mm.
for. And then the occultists, again, slightly different buildings. It looks like a warlock shire almost, with a kind
I
of
wonder if it's
the
just these
boars.
layouts look very similar. So I wonder if it's just sort of like
I think
similar layout for all the camps, but just different sort of
possibly. I
aesthetics.
imagine there'll be different variation. Yeah, this might just be
Yeah.
purely for concept purposes, just to kind of
Yeah.
give you an idea of
Yeah. Yeah.
how different. Then there's like some mushroom people, mushroom-like creatures, uh,
Don't like mushrooms. Never liked mushrooms.
fluorescent in color. You can see the bioluminescence of some of them. Um, and then here comes something minor map fix. So they've tone down the distortion on the minimap.
Yeah, I was literally just checking it out quickly before coming on here, and it was overkill on the. You don't. I didn't really notice it until they said it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was a bit
So
overkill.
this has
I
this
love the
has
look of the
come
map.
yeah, yeah. This has come back. This is pure feedback from the Discord. A lot of players when they saw the video was like, this is hard. Like there needs to be a slider scale. Can we tone it down a bit? Is there an option to turn it off and stuff? They've listened. They've been, they've
Yeah,
implemented it already. Like they've agreed and gone, yeah, actually tone down
it's a
the
bit much.
because the map's meant to be there to help you. At the end of the day, um,
How cool is that sort of Google Maps style map?
yeah,
Like, you
I,
know what I
I
mean?
I
Just
like,
like
yeah,
how realistic it looks. It's just,
yeah,
yeah, very cool.
because most maps, mini maps, whatever in the game are like Atlas like. So like yes, there's the
Yeah,
town, but it's not the exact road layout and
no,
the
exactly. Yeah,
actual. So I do like that. It kind of leans into that tech side of it as well. I was saying, but the houses are still very much
mate,
based anchored in reality of the fantasy setting.
you can imagine them with that sort of Fallout. Is it a Pit Boy
Yeah,
sort of thing? They've got on their arm and they're checking out the map. Birds, you
yeah,
know what I mean? You can imagine your character doing it with this sort of thing, couldn't you? Like,
yeah, like a little tablet. Or, yeah, yeah, like
yeah,
you say, a
exactly.
thing on your arm,
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, so that's kind of there's a lot there. Go and look at it at your leisure. There is a lot to take in. There was like say 2 a.m. discussions about like what's this fourth one? Can you see here? It looks slightly different to the others.
yeah.
Um, the two options at the end. How game changing are they going to be? All
Is this?
these
Are those
questions.
the two options that you get? Remember, wasn't there something that you unlock
Yeah, and
further down, and maybe
yeah,
that's those
maybe
that you pick,
that's
like an
those.
alliance stick. I can't remember what it
Yeah,
was, but I'm sure it was once you got to some sort of certain level that you could only pick.
yeah, yeah,
We need
and
this is that's what it's reminded me of now is that we need to brush off and go back through everything and it's made me excited to again
yeah.
after such long to know that it's so close whether we're playing in September or not, which well I want to find out how we find out if we're who's getting in. So I'm excited to find that
All a
out.
good time, my friends. Yeah, but just seeing these two screenshots, they're exactly the same level, exactly the same experience, but they've got this person's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 pips, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 pips, but these guys are much further down. Like, is this skill, which is this one, ignores 20% of the enemy armor? It the fact that you can beeline down a certain
Yeah.
and then you're getting closer to whatever these choices are, which could be crucial, or you're
Mm,
going to be more of a jack of all trades and have the
a bit of all.
bit of everything. So yeah, go and look at it. It's good. The second part, obviously, like I say, Eugene did actually um, jump into uh, Discord, and this is his top 10 moments. I say top 10 because there was 10 things, but it
Class.
feels well. So there was the initial thing. Obviously, the news came out, and then classic Discord community of like a lot of people overwhelmingly just hyped.
Yeah,
That was
man.
the thing.
I'm so
Names
excited.
names I've not seen in a good couple of months.
Including
Out
our own.
couldn't yeah, 100%. Yeah, like we say, life's been busy and stuff. Why don't they speak to us anymore? And he was like, "Hey, we're still here." And then he proceeded to do one. So, um, what the over overarching story of it is that they've just been getting their heads down. It's as
Yeah.
simple as that. There's been a lot going on. They've just got their heads, and they're getting to a point now, um, which you'll see in some of the replies now that it's going to be
They're
soon.
finally ready.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
So, Illumio, again, a very famous name. I don't think he ever left the Discord. He's been there waiting
He's been there
patiently.
every time I've gone in. He's still talking every day.
He's a
Yeah.
legend. Um,
Will you? Can you read me what they say here? Because
yeah,
on my little screen where we've got it, I
yeah, yeah.
can't really see.
Yeah, so Eugene said, I wanted to come by for some time, but just been working to bring the game to a playable state faster. Excited to finally start playtests. Still a lot to work to do, but looks like something we can manage. And yes, first tests will be under visual NDAs for us to fix major flops. But finally, transferring into this playtest several times per month to move into faster development. Can't wait. This is going to be a major step for us. Big
Wow.
news.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So,
It's crazy, and it's the first time they've properly just been like, yeah, it's definitely.
yeah, this is it. So, a few things to take from this. Um, that the whole reason why they've been quiet is to get it to this state faster. They are starting playtests. They'll be on the visual NDA. Now, this is the thing a lot of people asked about. What's a visual NDA? Um, whilst there's not been confirmation in terms of exactly, it basically seems to be that if there are people who are playtesting it, they can't screenshot, record, all that stuff, but can talk about it. So it'll just be that, you know, if people have podcasts who've played it, they can be like, "Oh yeah, I played it. This was great. This is a
Oh, it'd
thing
be
I did."
great if. It'd be so good if we actually managed to get in because it'd finally give us something tangible to just keep
Tangible, yeah,
going and keep actually. Because at first, when we started this, we tried to make it a weekly podcast uh,
yeah,
with the hopes of thinking that the beta was coming at what was it, like a month or two after we started? So we thought, yeah, we'll
yeah.
lead into it
It's like
and we'll
this is
keep.
a great time to get into it, but you know,
And now we're what 2 years on, so
I think so.
God,
Yeah,
yeah, it'll be so good to
but
be
yeah.
able to
So
discuss it.
that's what we surmise as a visual NDA is that there won't be us going, "Hey, we're streaming," and I'm not saying us. I use the collective
Yeah,
community we here. Um, come and join us whilst we play. I think it will very much be, "Here's what I want you to play." Feedback,
yeah,
bug reports, all that stuff. We can talk that you've played it, but not like here's a screenshot of my character and stuff because that'll
yeah,
be in time to come. The idea being that the play tests will be several times a month, so that gives the impression that there'll be small blocks of, it might be a weekend, it might be a midweek thing, but there'll be several of them to help get that bit locked down. So in my mind's eye is like, hey, we need to test out. Could be like the
this
camps,
trade,
yeah,
this, yeah,
yeah, or this dungeon, whatever it is. That's the only bit we're letting you play with, but work around, give us feedback. It's cool stuff.
yeah.
And obviously, faster development means beta, and then beta means everyone gets to play it, and we take it from
It'd be
there.
interesting to see how they implement, like how they take feedback on how people sort of input feedback or whatever from.
It fills me with confidence that they like a simple thing as like the map distortion. Like that was an early alpha thing. It was obviously a heavy thing discussed in Discord. They've already changed that. So it leads me to
Oh
think that they
yeah,
are
I think they
cool.
will. I just meant like I wonder how the people will input the stuff. I wonder if it'll just be
Yeah.
like a form that you get like Google Doc, or if it'll be built into the playtesting build of the game, like like Going Medieval was, where you can just
Yeah.
instantly
There was
send anything on the fly.
I think there will be because again, we stayed up late in the Discord. There was discussions about how they would be it'd almost be like it could possibly be audio calls, video calls talking about it. Like actual
Right,
just constructive
right. So
feedback
just
and
yeah,
stuff. Um
group session.
which I think will be the because if they're keeping it small and they do talk about how small they're talking like I don't even think we're talking hundreds. We're talking
No, yeah,
very
like
select kind of things. He goes on. I thought I'd chuck this one in because again, it was a news post quite a while back. Um, Son Goku put, "I hope the Corepunk team are all right," because obviously there was a war, still is a war going on in Ukraine and stuff.
mm,
Um, just saying, thank you very much. We are all right. Our team in Ukraine had it rough last winter, but the summer's been okay. Overall, the war's actually slowed us down more than COVID, which is a surprise because obviously the whole
yeah,
world shut down with COVID, didn't it?
yeah.
So it just got too slow. But we're getting up to speed. We really want to launch the game for tests and iterate more rapidly in more close cooperation with you guys because it feels lonely sitting and working full time and knowing my favorite crowd is losing faith every day. But yeah, I think that's changing soon. At least I hope first people will play, that will play will like it, and that will mean a lot. which
Yeah.
was like reading that. I was like, oh man, because it's true. There is a whole development team there who are working their absolute asses off.
Well, we've said this previously, haven't we? We've said this a load of times that
Yeah.
they're working tirelessly to bring this game, and we're not entitled to get it. You know, it's
No,
like
no.
it's just, and it's hard to sort of keep that objective look at it, but
It
it's
would
it's
it
good.
would it would be hard, especially you like you say, if this is 8 years in the making and then, and understandably, I mean, I've made a video about how like it's like just some news would be nice because I just, anyway, besides the point, it's like the fact that they will see those negative comments. They will see that when they log into Discord, it's like, oh, it's another delay. Oh, da 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 da, da 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 da, and it's just like he sat there and he literally admits he knows his favorite crowd, which is us guys, the community, are losing faith, but yet he knows that it's coming. Good things are coming. And that's
Yeah.
what I like to take away from that. Is like, I think as soon as people get their hands on, it'll mean a lot.
But I guess that's where they draw strength whilst making this game, is that the fact that they know that they are doing all this and it's gonna be worth it. You know what I mean? They're
Oh,
taking all this shit off the community, like, or, well, not shit, but the comments or
oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Like
It's
when
very
it comes,
much.
they're taking the backlash from another delay because they know that when it comes, people will forget about that because hopefully the work's been worth it.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah. So, um, and then Zeke said, if it plays as great as it looks, then yeah, people will love it. Obviously, that's off the back of that last bit. And he put, Eugene said, I think the first few tests will be a bit rough, but in a few months, we'll get to like a fun playing state. Our internal tests are fun. There is a ton of things we need to fix and polish, but we'll be releasing piece by piece, feature by feature, hero by hero. And at some point, we'll be ready for a big CBT, closed beta test. Anyway, we want to start and see how it goes. Can't wait for the first feedback of people who've never played it before. It's hard to explain how special that will be for us. And it
mm,
makes sense because the only people who've played it are the people making it at the moment. Um, and again, it
yeah,
kind of harks back to that thing of like why I do think it's good. He said there, it's piece by piece, feature by feature, hero by hero. So,
I
um,
wonder. I wonder if there'll be any sort of like criteria of who they can give it to with system spec, because obviously with such an early build of
mm,
the game, and this is the problem a load of devs have with optimization of games, is you need the rig to be able to like. Not everyone's going to have the rig that they're playing on it at the moment. You
yeah,
know what I mean? So
I guess there's a kind of there's a, like a double edged sword with that because they'll probably want people not with all high ends because they
yeah,
want
you
to
want
work out
you want
where.
all the spectrum so you can
Yeah,
see what it's like, don't you? So yeah, I wonder if they'll
mm,
do how they'll pick people, or if they'll, because
be
at the first
interesting.
they just said if you wanted to get into the beta, there was just the sign up online,
Yeah,
and we all did that ages ago, which I imagine everybody in the Discord has done that.
yeah,
Um, so I wonder if there'll then be another. Oh, they might even already know who they picked. The people who they picked, they might have already been chosen.
yep.
But
I
um,
know
I
if I
wonder if they'll
can.
put out another sign up sheet of this is what rig you've got, this is how much you can play of the
Yeah,
game when it comes, so they know who. Because when I signed up for a play test of Skate, the new game, and when that came through, it was like you need to play. I think it was 8 hours a week or something, but I was away on the week that they wanted me to do it, so I just couldn't do it.
yeah,
So yeah, I wonder if there'll be anything like that.
possibly. I think I'm trying to think back to betas I've played, and on their launches they have like it scans for your hardware because obviously it needs to know your
Oh no,
settings,
yeah, and they'll just
and they
take it.
use that as like an analytics thing. So
Right.
that possible. I don't know. Yeah, like you say,
Yeah.
they'll want a scope, but they'll also want to see how far
Yeah.
it go as well. I guess so. There's the other
Yeah.
side of it. But I thought it was really nice that it's the reality of this is like they're admitting it's going to be rough. There's things that need fixing, but it's all steps now to get it to a stage where
Yeah.
it's good. Um,
Yeah.
so that's good. And then
I don't
Seth,
think. Sorry, I'm just cutting you
no,
off all the time, but I'm
right?
just hearing it all for the first time, so my brain's going crazy. But I don't think anyone who's getting into this early testing will be able to criticize the bugs that they find. You know what
No,
I
and
mean? Because
I don't think it's it.
they're not opening it up going, you know what I mean? This is polished. Just you wait till you play it. That's what the wait. This is why we're having this. They're
Yeah,
allowed to make mistakes. This
yeah.
is
This is barely. I mean, they've not even used the term alpha, and
yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah,
definitely not the
yeah.
well in the last tweet. That's
X
rip
what
Twitter.
X? Yeah,
He says like this is only building up to the closed beta, so it's not even open. You know, these are steps, but they're steps that have to be taken. I think the people that they will pick will be yeah. No one's under any illusions here that they're going to come out of the playtest, and if they can talk about it in whatever capacity that is, they're going to be like, guys, it's the best game ever. It's
yeah.
all
If
why.
anyone's watching this and you get on, if you get into it, you have an open invitation if you want to come on this podcast and talk about what you've played,
Yeah,
and tell me and Mike. Absolutely.
so I can live vicariously through you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we'll need some content. So if you have been playing it, please come and tell us.
Yes. Yeah. So then Saperta said, so we're going to have some update, even a small one before those tests. To which Eugene said, right now we're getting the game playable for our community, and that's the key priority. We'll be sharing and chatting more after the first small tests. We'll be sharing news on when the next one is and what it's going to be, what's going to be in it. So I think the second half of September will start to get interesting. Till then, I'll jump on from time to time. We need to share games to make it do. We need to share the game to make it do most of the talking.
Yeah,
So, it sounds like these are going to be small playtests, but frequent. You know,
frequent.
if we're talking the second half of September is where it's going to get interesting. That's less than a month away. You know, like these are all kind
Crazy.
of like
Crazy
crazy
how quick it's
times.
coming now.
Yeah. Um, so and the confidence of saying, well, the game's going to do the talking. We know that,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, so that's really good. Um, then it goes a bit off topic. Obviously, certain content creators were bringing out all their merchandise, and I think I had a rum and coke at 1 o'clock in the morning just to celebrate the news. And Illumia was talking about how his white hoodie, which I think is the Faden hoodie,
Oh yeah.
had an accident because it's white and blue, and it's kind of blended in. So now it's like a nice mottled blue. Eugene was saying that his was too, and we should have done more testing on that, which was just a bit of a funny
Eugene,
thing.
please let me get a snapback. Let me get a cap. Please
Yeah.
get me. I just need a cap. That's all I need.
Yeah, and then we had a mild discussion about, and everyone was really excited, but quite a few people were more excited of a merch shop because they wanted the Yawners T-shirt, they wanted the hoodie, they wanted
Yeah.
all these things. So that was quite funny. People pulling out figurines and taking pictures of them. That was quite cool.
Yeah, my
Um,
T-shirt's literally been sat in the Corepunk box behind me up until
yeah.
this and the last podcast, just waiting, ready to go. You know.
Yeah, my boxes were up here. It's never far away. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
It lives with me. But yeah, so that was quite cool. A bit off topic, but yeah. And then this was quite an interesting question. Pizza reads poetry said, "Is the problem with the server and the bots that you had faced earlier got solved?" I think there was something about server optimization. So
Right.
they did talk about the whole bots thing and all that. Eugene replied, "It got better, but we're still working on performance. Last time I tried it, it was okay, but we'll see at the scale of actual people if it's really fixed or it needs more fixes." So for context, if you don't know, they were using bots to help populate
Yeah.
to see how it goes. But obviously, that's not a real reflection of
A bot
actual
can't do all
people.
the
Yes,
crazy stuff that
yeah.
people will.
So there's still optimization, which for anyone who has any idea knows that optimization comes at the end. You get the
Yeah.
game and then you make it optimized. So anyone who plays it wouldn't be expected like, oh, I wish this was a bit smoother or this like yeah, of course it's not going to be
Yeah.
optimized. But they're working on it. There's an improvement. But again, scale with actual people is where it'll kind of shine, I guess. Um and then Estelle said, so there is a chance that the first test persons will be people who have been here from the beginning? Question mark. And Eugene's response was interesting, and this led to a bit of a discussion after. But sure, we'll try to include our true supporters in our play tests as soon as possible. I hope we'll be growing that community really fast, and this fall everyone can play it. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll let the first party in, have some tests, get some feedback, do some fixes, then we'll let 5 parties in, fix some bugs, let 20 parties in, and so on. The less bugs, the faster we'll progress, and we'll try to lift the NDA as soon as possible so that there will be a lot of info for everyone else waiting. We don't want to make you wait after all these years, but we need to fix stuff in order for you to experience, for your experience to be good and not a bunch of bugs. So this obviously has got a lot of things in there.
Yeah.
So the thing that a lot of people picked up on is what's a true supporter. I think a lot of people latched onto that. Um, and if I, my interpretation of it, I'm not saying this is their interpretation, but I think it doesn't necessarily mean if you've been there from the beginning. I just think it's that you've been a true supporter. Like
Yeah.
you've spoken in the chats, you've been on the forums, you've made content creation, you made videos. I
It's
think it's
hard though, isn't it? Because a lot of people will be thinking, like we ourselves have done, and like myself has done. When we first joined in, I was in the Discord quite a bit, and then as obviously the delays came and stuff like that, it died down. And like for the last couple of months, I've just been checking in on it. No news, not said anything, gone away. So it could look
mm,
like your support has gone. And I imagine a lot of people are like, oh crap, well I've not been talking for the last few weeks because I was
yeah,
just letting it go away until news was coming.
yeah.
So
I don't think they'll look at it that under that much of a microscope.
nah,
I think they'll have a very good because if they're talking about parties, so again, this is another ambiguous term. Parties, is that a group of people, or is that am I a party? Are you a party?
I
Like
I'd
that kind of
I'd say it's a group of people. I'd say it's
yeah,
like actual people who could play together and test the mechanics of
yeah.
playing in a party
We want you
of
to
it.
do
Yeah,
this,
we want you to
yeah,
play this together.
yeah.
So
Which will be good. And I think that again, just as like talking about the computer specs thing, I think they will want a range of people. So a true supporter doesn't have to be someone who's made a million videos, talks about it all the time, is always active. Like I think they will have an idea in their head. There'll be people who will have names, and they will, I'm sure if you asked any of the people on the team, they will go, "Oh, I've seen that name about. Like I've seen
but
these names about."
it
Like
doesn't really
that's
mean anything if you create content either, because like
no.
we've made loads of content now for the game, but we both don't have a clue if we're getting in. You know what I mean?
No, no, and
It's not like and part of me doesn't think we will get in. You know,
no.
so
I think, and the chat basically hooked into the true supporter because like, are they gonna, are they, that could mean anything. And again, it's
yeah,
like, is a true supporter someone who still has negative feedback about the weights? And the argument could be put both ways because, of course, a supporter is someone who supports it, and if they're not getting the things they want, of course, we've talked about it before. You have a right to feel upset. It's how you act and your entitlement.
shit, how
Nothing
you voice it,
changes that.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
So, but yeah, like I say, it goes to the 5 parties, then 20 parties. So these are small numbers. These aren't. We're gonna get 6,000 keys out. I think that'll come
yeah,
closed beta. That's closed beta test.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, and again, as much as they don't want to make us wait, it's to fix stuff in order for your experience to be good and not just a bug fest. Which
yeah,
we've seen so many games recently from many AAA developers and indies who don't do the bug testing and then the game flops. So they're avoiding that. Um, I complained so much about this map. They changed it, which is
the
obviously
map was
harking
too
back to
much.
the map was too much. We've been polishing under a pressure of being late with an update, so the map looked good, but but in a few days after the update, it was obvious that the fix was needed.
Yeah,
So
it's
again,
nice,
they do
simple,
listen, yeah, and people go, oh, even back to that first Discord thing where it was like, oh, they never talk to us. They might not talk, but they do see. Every time I go
yeah,
into that Discord, they are online. There's always
yeah,
someone online from the
yeah, there's
team.
always someone there.
Um, and then this was the last one, which we signed out, and then proceeded from this. Devalin started a clap emoji chain, which like
Of
loads of
course
us
he did.
just had the
Of
claps
course he did.
just differently, like the proper. It's like but yeah, I really missed our chats. Didn't even realize how much until now. Thank you for being happy to have you in my life, even the guys on the negative side. But yes, thank you to everyone for your energy you give us, and me in particular. And
Yeah,
that was kind
class.
of his thing. He
Class of
did
you,
also
dude.
say he's going to pop in um, this weekend, hopefully, maybe answer a few questions if he's got time. But it just goes to show, like, I know it's been a few months. You've had a baby in that time. I've
Yeah.
moved house, like all these things. Our life goes on, but um, it they do see it, they do listen. They are just doing everything that's best. So even like the fact that he doesn't have to acknowledge the guys on the negative side, he knows it's there. He sees you, like he's still thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Like it's that kind of thing. So um, proper proper buzzed, jazzed. There's a lot to break down. Like I say, I think we should do. We'll go over the profession video now. We've got
Yeah, I
context
think
for
so.
it.
I think like what we on now, what's the date? We're on the 20th now. So
Mm.
what say next week we do a little professions video, maybe get that out. And
Sounds
then maybe get Blackout and Devalin on again, see where they're at. Because I think
mhm.
that was our last podcast we did with them was sort of like
Yeah,
what classes were we all gonna play?
yeah.
And it'd be cool to see what they're at now with this excitement of look, they could be testing it. And I imagine if anyone was going to be definitely in the test, it'd be Dvalin. So
Well,
you know what I mean?
he might be the one person who's not.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
The plot twist. Eugene's like, I
You know
I
what? We
wouldn't.
flew out to your house, but you ain't playing this game.
Yeah,
You
not
ain't playing
not
this game.
not for you, mate. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that'll be cool. We'll do that. We'll certainly get some more content for you. And this is the thing now is we have content, and even if we don't play, like again, fully
But yeah,
don't
please.
expect to
Yeah,
be,
if you get in touch with us, come on, have a chat.
because
It'll be great.
that's where the snowball starts. I think
Yeah.
the proverbial snowball, and then who knows? Closed beta could be just around the corner.
There we go. Well, cheers for that, mate. It's been fun. It's
Yeah,
been, you know what I mean?
feels
It's
great.
funny. We're
Feels
back at
great.
it. You
Crazy.
know what
I
I
love
mean?
it. I
Corepunk,
absolutely.
man.
It's
Who would have
cool.
thought?
Who'd have thought?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, if you've enjoyed it, please give us a like, subscribe, comment. Let us know if you're excited.
Yeah.
Um,
If there's
but yeah,
anything we've missed, because like I say, I stayed up till 2 and then my eyes closed, because it's 2 o'clock.
yeah. I've been staying up. I've been staying up till
You
two,
should.
but
I can
just
imagine. Yeah.
just like this, looking at a baby.
Yeah. Yeah. And
um,
I'm there going, what does it mean?
what
Where's my
does it mean?
notebook?
But yeah, right. I'll see you next week, Mike. We'll
See you
do it
next
well.
week. Yeah.
Yeah. Take care,
Take
everyone.
care.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.